Hillary Clinton is getting easy votes. Bernie Sanders, he doesn't have a brand name. He doesn't have hardly any endorsements from the Senate, from the Congress. He's not getting endorsement from the mayors. He's not getting the endorsement from the governors. He had to fight to just get his name known throughout the election cycle. You know, he dealt with voter suppression, dealt with voter irregularities, possible purging of votes in New York. He met with a very hostile Democratic National Committee that was not very accepting of him. He met with a hostile mainstream news, CNN, that completely ignored him. Look, don't think that we don't know, CNN, that you guys are playing this. We understand what you guys are doing. This is not just this little game that, oh yeah, we're being fair. We're not really doing it. We know you guys are not being fair. Don't lie to us. Stop lying to us. In fact, I can show you how you guys are not being fair.
Jeff Weaver, he's joining us from California. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. So you heard David Chalian right there. Other networks have made the call as well. Hillary Clinton is the presumptive Democratic nominee. You have a problem with that?
Well, it's not a question of having a problem with it. The problem is that the inclusion of the superdelegates is a little bit misleading, given that those superdelegates don't vote until July, as you well know, and are fully able to change their vote. They're not pledged in any way. So basically what you've done is you've polled some superdelegates, and at this point they're supporting Secretary Clinton. But there's a long way to go between now and the convention. A lot can happen between then. All the polling shows that Bernie Sanders is a much stronger general election candidate against Donald Trump than is Secretary Clinton. That's just a fact. And I think the case has got to be made to the superdelegates as we get closer to their election. Today we're having elections in 6 states, but the superdelegate election actually is in July. And as we get closer, we're going to make the case to them that Bernie Sanders really is the person who should be the standard bearer for the party.
On our polling of superdelegates, Walter Mondale was the presumptive nominee based on our polling of superdelegates. This is the way it works. This is the reporting. You do understand that, yes, Jeff?
Well, this is the way you do it. It doesn't, John. It doesn't mean it's the way it is. It's the way CNN and some other media choose to do it. Look, there are people voting in 6 states today, including the largest state in the country.
Listen, if I was Jeff Weaver, I don't know how he could stay calm in that moment. I would have lost my damn shit. I would have said, yes, I do have a damn problem. I have a problem with this entire Democratic nominee process. I have a problem with the fact that, you know, Hillary was paying off church leaders. I have a problem with the fact that Hillary was paying off governors and senators and mayors, you know, using the DNC. I would have a problem with the Clinton Foundation, the fact that she made 100 times more money last year, mostly through speaking engagements. I would have a problem with the fact that she's getting most of the minority votes, despite the fact that Bernie Sanders was chaining himself to a black woman in the 60s, while Hillary Clinton was campaigning for racist Barry Goldwater.
I was a Goldwater girl. I mean, really, we used to...
I would also have a problem with the fact that Hillary Clinton is being indicted by the FBI for possibly committing espionage crimes. I would have a problem with the way that the DNC was handled by Debbie Wassserman Schultz, who was supposed to be nonpartisan, yet was an obvious Clinton surrogate. I would have had a problem with damn near everything that had happened to this election cycle, including what we just discussed, which is all the possible voter fraud and irregularities. So, Jeff Weaver, I commend you. Way to keep calm. My God, I felt like smoke was coming out of my ears. I was just so heated listening to CNN. CNN has absolutely shamed all of American media, and it's unbelievable to see something that is so unbiased, that's so biased. And it's fine. It's fine if you're biased. It's fine if you scream out your opinions like Rush Limbaugh. But just say who you are. Don't pretend like you're not biased. That's what pisses me off. What really makes me angry is all this disguising, this Machiavellian type of trickery that's happening, you know, where they just kind of smile in the background, knowing damn well that they're fooling these people, or at least older voters, into thinking that the information that they're given is actually nonpartisan. It's not. It's not. I guarantee you the execs of CNN wanted the pundits of CNN to direct the conversation away from Bernie. And you know how I know this? Because Time Warner, who is partners company with CNN, actually gave money to Hillary Clinton. Now, why would Time Warner, who gives me such a difficult time over little issues with my bill, spend $1 million contributing to somebody if they didn't think they can get something out of it? When you go to a polling place and you start asking people after they voted, who did you vote for? You're essentially tallying the number, this number that we call the unadjusted exit polls. The unadjusted exit polls has always been a very good, reliable data point for to compare to the end result. And if the end result does not match the exit polls, well, it's possible that there could be something happening like voter fraud. It's also possible that it could just be a coincidence. So generally, exit polls is, when you do analyze it for voter fraud, you have to analyze it in large quantities. You have to see it happening with either a very high standard deviation, or you have to see it happening multiple times with a consistent standard deviation. What I'm trying to say is that in this election cycle, in 2016, it just happens that Hillary Clinton won every single result related to the exit polls. What I'm trying to say with that is that every exit poll number seemed to somehow benefit her in the way that her end results were always higher than the exit polls. If Hillary is consistently outperforming the polls, that is possible evidence of voter fraud. Like I said, one data point is not enough to say it's voter fraud. But 21 out of 22 states, that is a lot. And if you ask any mathematician or any statistician, they will say that is a very, very relevant figure.
The work I've done is not rocket science. It does require some mathematics, but the gist is pretty obvious. We're talking about exit poll deviations from the recorded vote and how they're mathematically impossible. What I draw out of this is Bernie Sanders has probably done better than the unadjusted numbers that we're looking at and the discrepancies that we see, because they've already been adjusted, and from my experience, they're adjusted in one direction. Ultimately, they're going to be adjusted to match the vote of the establishment candidate.
There you have it. Richard Charnin, exit poll worker, statistician, laying down like it is. So I just want to close off the show by saying that despite the fact that my entire life I've been a hardcore Democrat, that this year I believe things are going to change. This year I have chosen to be Bernie or bust. It's not that I like Donald Trump. In fact, I kind of hate Donald Trump. It's just that there's no part of my body, not a single part of my conscience, that can feel right, that can feel good about giving my vote to Hillary Clinton. She doesn't have the temperament to be a president. She has stolen elections. She has gotten ambassadors killed. She has intervened in countries that are now ISIS terror grounds. I cannot vote for this person as president. And I hope that many other viewers will join this Bernie or bust movement. And together, as a movement, we will convince Bernie to run as an independent. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next week.